How's it going, everybody? This is S3Tide, and this is going to be my preview of number 3 Alabama at Penn State, number 23 in the nation. This game is going to be at Beaver Stadium, more than likely going to be a first whiteout in a few years for the Nittany Lions. Right off the bat, the biggest concern for both teams leading into the game is the quarterback situation. Both teams have two quarterbacks who are competing for the starting job. Both teams have not named a starter. For Alabama, in their case, it's A.J. McCarron and Phillip Sims. Penn State's case, it's Rob Bolden and Matt McGloin. Alabama last week against Kent State, they won 46-7, I believe. A.J. McCarron, I think personally, had a better game than Phillip Sims. They both were strong at some points. Both were down at some points. But I do believe A.J. will get the start, and whoever does better in this game for Alabama more than likely will be named the starter for the rest of the season, depending how they do. And Penn State, I've read some reviews on them, and last week it seems like Matt McGloin had the better game, but some of the Penn State fans like Rob Bolden better. He's the one who started last year as a freshman in Bryant Denny, but we'll just have to see. That is Alabama's main question coming into this game, is how will the two quarterbacks who have never started on the road before do in a hostile environment like Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania. This is two teams with great tradition, Joe Paterno and Nick Saban, old school football clashing together. But that is the key for Alabama, is how the two young quarterbacks play on the road in their first test against Penn State. The key for Penn State is to definitely stop Trent Richardson, because if they can stop Trent Richardson, their secondary is experienced enough to, I don't think if Alabama has to rely on A.J. McCarron or Phillip Sims, they will cut it really close to winning. Some experts are predicting Alabama to win by a lot. That's not what I believe. So if Penn State can stop Trent Richardson, that will be a lot of trouble for Alabama. Penn State, their defensive line is kind of a strong point for them. So if they can stop Trent Richardson, that's going to be a lot of trouble for Alabama. Penn State and Alabama's matched up 19 times in history. Alabama's won 14 out of the 19. Penn State's won 5. One of the keys for Alabama is their defensive line can exploit Penn State's weak pass blocking. Penn State's offensive line is kind of weak. They're back, but they're weak. The pass protection is not great, and Alabama has one of the best defensive lines in the country, one of the best defenses in the country. I bet Courtney Upshaw will have a big game for Alabama. The linebacker sometimes plays the defensive end. What's it at Alabama they call the jack linebacker, which is the defensive end who basically is the pass rusher. Another guy to look out for is Jesse Williams. He is an Australian defensive end. He's massive. He's a great player. He not getting that much hype going into the season, but do not be surprised if he has a breakout game for Alabama. The biggest test for Alabama will be Penn State's experienced wide receiver core. They have Derek Moy and Graham, 3 returning starters. They have pretty good wide receivers. That'll be Alabama's biggest test. But Alabama has a great secondary, probably the best in the nation, with Mark Barron, Robert Lester, Will Lowry, Drake Kirkpatrick, a number of guys. But the best way for Penn State to beat Alabama is not going to be the run game, because they lost Evan Royster from last year, which is not to throw the deep pass because the cornerbacks will keep that in cover. But the best way to beat Alabama will be to throw the underneath routes. Get Derek Moy, Graham, running the slant routes, underneath routes. That'll be the best way to beat Alabama. Let's see. Penn State has a strong secondary, like I said. A very experienced group, and that'll be the key for Alabama, is for the two quarterbacks to have a good game on their. If the two quarterbacks have a good game, Alabama will not have a problem. But personally, I believe Alabama will. I'm an Alabama fan. That's my favorite team, been my favorite team my whole life. But I personally believe Alabama will struggle this game. I believe A.J. and Phillip Sims, they did not do that great against Kent State last week. Not bad, but not great. If they can manage the game, if Trent Richardson can run, if Penn State does not stop Alabama's running game, Alabama can win big. But I do believe they somewhat will stop the rushing game. I believe AJ and Phillip Sims will both have a few turnovers that will lead to some points for Penn State. But in the end, I still believe Alabama wins a lot closer than some predict. Some are predicting 30-plus scores, worse than last year, a 30-plus victory. But I believe Alabama beats Penn State 28-17. It all depends on the quarterbacks. Who knows? Penn State could go out there and throw for 8 million yards. Who knows? But thanks, guys. That's it. Prediction is Alabama 28, Penn State 17. Thanks for watching, and that is all. Goodbye. And roll Tide.